An empire that ruled over 20 million people, advanced cities, massive wealth, and your history teacher never mentioned it once. That's not an accident. Today, we're uncovering 5 empires that mysteriously disappeared from your textbooks. We all learned about Rome, Egypt, and Greece. But what about the civilizations that were just as powerful, just as advanced, but somehow got erased? What else aren't they teaching us? From Africa to Asia, these 5 empires controlled continents, then vanished from history. Drop a comment if you've heard of even one of these. Before Europe dominated global trade, one African empire controlled the entire Red Sea. The Aksumite Empire, from 100 to 940 CE, issued its own currency, something even powerful kingdoms couldn't do. They built obelisks over 80 feet tall that still stand today, and archaeologists can't fully explain how. They converted to Christianity before most of Europe even knew what it was. So why don't we learn about them? Because their decline coincided with Islamic expansion, and Western historians chose to focus elsewhere. But this wasn't the only empire with impossible architecture. Deep in the Cambodian jungle lies a city larger than modern Paris. The Khmer Empire built Angkor Wat, the largest religious monument on Earth. From 802 to 1431 CE, they controlled all of Southeast Asia with advanced hydraulic systems and a population over 1 million people. That's massive for medieval times. Then, they just left. A thriving capital, abandoned. The jungle swallowed it whole. Western historians focused on China and India and acted like the Khmer never existed. But here's what nobody can answer. Why would 1 million people abandon a perfectly functioning city? Think you know which empire takes the #1 spot? Drop your guess in the comments. The merchants who connected Rome, Persia, and China. The Sogdians controlled the Silk Road for over 1,500 years, from 500 BCE to 1000 CE. They spoke a language that's now completely extinct. No modern descendant, nothing. They influenced art, religion, and commerce across 3 continents. But they left almost no monuments, no centralized government, and barely any written records. Some experts believe this was intentional. They didn't want competitors learning their trade secrets. Then Islamic expansion absorbed them, and they disappeared. But one empire didn't just vanish from the history books. It vanished from the earth itself. Egypt's rival that actually conquered Egypt. The Nubian Kush kingdom ruled from 1070 BCE to 350 CE in what's now Sudan. They didn't just build pyramids, they built over 200 of them, more than Egypt. They put women in power when most of the world wouldn't. They mastered ironworking before most of Africa. They literally ruled Egypt as the 25th dynasty. So why is this the first time you're hearing about them? Because Egyptian history dominated, and racist colonial scholars deliberately dismissed African achievements. They didn't fit the narrative. But the #1 empire didn't just rival others, it might have changed human civilization forever. A civilization so rich, the ancient Greeks called it legendary. Tartessos flourished in southern Spain from 1000 to 500 BCE. The Bible mentions their wealth. Greek historians couldn't stop talking about them. Some scholars think they inspired the legend of Atlantis. They mastered metallurgy, traded across the Mediterranean, and then around 500 BCE, they completely disappeared. No ruins, no descendants, no answers. Archaeologists have searched for decades. Some think catastrophic flooding wiped them out. Others believe they were deliberately destroyed.